What is going on? Good morning, everybody. We are talking about the common hair system, common mistakes to avoid with hair systems.
Yes.
Last week, we were talking about how to get into hair systems.
Yes.
So we're kind of piggybacking on that one. We got a great response. Thank you, everybody, for watching that and asking questions. So yeah, we're going to get right back into it. Good morning, Bernard.
Hi, I'm Bernard.
Hello.
So I want to subdivide. I love divisions and organizing my thoughts so I can kind of stay on track. And today, as we talk about mistakes, I'd like to jump back and forth between two groups, and that would be from the client's perception and from the stylist perception.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's important. That's good.
We'll go back and forth and kind of I think the our bosses and business partners are going to be real happy with this answer. The biggest problem is a bad batch of hair.
You don't want to get a bad batch.
You don't want to get a bad batch. Avoid a bad batch. When you call an order, make sure you always say, I want hair from the better batch.
Because Bernard said so.
Yeah, like we ever know. It's just funny because every time somebody has a problem, that's the first question.
That is the universal. That is the universal thing.
You think it was a bad batch? Yeah. What do you put on there? Bad batch
suck. Bad batches suck.
The problem is we don't ever know. And the fact is we sell so much hair and have so little problems. I'm not saying we never get a bad batch, but
you want to know how we know we never get bad batches?
We do get them, but it's rare. But go ahead.
The one time every 10 years that it happens, that color becomes discontinued. It's no longer available moving forward. They do not fix the problem. They eliminate the process altogether. That's how they take care of it. People need to understand when you're dealing with human hair systems, whether I don't care what kind of system it is. You know, we're talking about top systems today, but hair extensions, wefts, whatever type of hair system is involved, if it's human hair, it's a commodity item. It is not a you can't just remake it. You know, you can't just go to the shelf and get a box of supply and just remake it again. You got to wait 6 months to a year to be able to replenish that inventory.
Or fix the problem often. Yeah. And so that's why we're out of color sometimes, because it'll just get pulled completely. But bad batch of hair is just an insider joke, you know. So when for you guys watching this, when you say it, you just know we're laughing on the inside like another bad batch. Because I always
directly at the person.
I always stand on my three-legged stool situation, because I mean, maybe there's more legs, but for the most part, the whole experience stands on three major categories. And let's just use me as an example. If I'm the stylist, I could be the problem, the client could be the problem, or the product I'm using. I don't care if it's color, shampoo, hair extensions, hair replacement, top of the head. And so it can be the company, can have good or bad products. So if you generally buy good products from a good company and you have a problem, usually it's you or the client. And it took me a minute to realize that too. I remember calling Great Lengths saying, I got some bad hair. I think it's y'all. I think it's you. I think you're the problem. And they put me on the phone with a manager, and he said, we haven't had any other problems up till now in the last few weeks. We haven't had any problems with that color, that length. It might be you. And I was just as offended as people are with me. And I was like, oh, how could you say that? I've got plenty of successful clients. And, you know, I had to go dig deep and think, did I do something different recently? And if I don't think I did, maybe it is the client. Maybe she ripped her hair out, you know, so it's hard. I often have to talk to customers that, you know, one of the very first things I'll look at is how much hair have they purchased? And it's almost always somebody who's in their first few $100s worth of purchases. The fact is they're still learning. They're still getting good at it. And they're like, something went wrong. It can't be me. What are you selling me? Well, maybe I should give you the phone number of a few other stylists that are having great success. Join the Facebook group. See the success. It's usually pretty good. So it's just kind of a joke. Just own it, or research that client experience. If you do a few clients, then you've got a few to gauge it by. And that's when I have somebody who's bought, I don't know, they're $5,000, $10,000 into buying hair and they have a problem. And I ask my front desk, how much hair have they bought? And then they tell me, and it's a lot, and they have a problem. I definitely take that problem a little more serious because I'm like, oh, okay. So it's probably not the stylist. Have we had any problems with that color or length? And, occasionally we do. Most of the time we don't. So I know right then it's most likely, maybe they did something new. Maybe they use an assistant, but it's most likely the client is a bad client. So we'll go into that and just kind of see. I'll say, and I'll call them and talk to them and try to help them figure it out. And most of the time they say, I think it is the client, but I don't know how to tell her. That's why I had to call. She told me.
Well, because most of the time it's unintentional and you don't want to try to hurt somebody's feelings, which is completely understandable as well, too. And it's creating that conversation and that environment to make everybody involved understand this isn't for name calling or pointing fingers or anything like that. This is just to figure out what went wrong, why it went wrong. So then this way we can make a plan on how to move forward to fix it. So this way everybody involved can enjoy the service moving forward. That's really what all the technical support is always about.
So I can tell you where one of our biggest problems lie, and this would be on the stylist side to help people get a little better experience. One, and this was me. Boy, was this me. I was so busy, I would order hair too late. Last minute ordering, overnight in hair, and that client's coming right away. And God forbid the place I'm ordering hair from, we're not perfect. So even if there's no bad batch, we could have a mistake in our office and send you the wrong length or the wrong color or the wrong density. And then you're screwed because you're getting ready to do a client and you open the package up in front of the client and you're like, oh, I've got the wrong hair. Well,
it can happen.
We're sorry. That is something we could solve by ordering hair a little earlier and trying to not be last second. Change your process. As soon as you take a deposit and do the consultation, order the hair then instead of 3 days later when you schedule the client. You do the consultation on Tuesday and you're doing the client Saturday, and you on Friday you overnight hair to show up on the day you're doing. That is so common, and I get it. I was that hairdresser. I just had to apologize a lot because I either didn't order enough, I ordered the wrong color, or they sent me the wrong color or length. And UPS messes up sometimes and doesn't get it there in time. So sometimes I just didn't get the order in time. I'd have to reschedule, apologize.
A lot. UPS messes up a lot.
So to me, that was some of the things I slowly fixed when I didn't want to mess up. Was I just started ordering as soon as I did the consultation. And if I collect money, I spend the money on the hair, in a deposit. And then when the hair comes in, you could just leave it sitting on your desk or station or in a drawer till the customer gets there, and then find out just as unsuccessfully that it's the wrong hair. So to me, it's like, pull it out, open it up, and check and make sure you got the right color, the right length, you got enough hair, and you set it up. And when you're doing a lot of extensions or hair replacement or anything where you need products, sometimes you get to the point where you order extra stuff. When I was doing warm fusion type of bonds, great lengths and or she hair, SoCap, I ordered a second $600-800 machine because I had one time where it stopped working in the middle of a set of extensions and I had no backup tool. I wanted a backup tool. I hated spending that money for a machine that just sat there most of the time. So I would use it just to make sure my backup actually worked, but I wanted to make sure. And then if I had 2 extension clients going on at the same time when I hired stylists, it would be nice, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if one of them stopped working. One client just had to wait a little while, but it wasn't like another day or two for me to order a machine. So having checking and make sure you got the right stuff, ordering ahead of time, checking to make sure you got it. Seems silly, but these are the mistakes and just bad business practices I personally have experienced. And now we get to watch hairdressers do the same thing. We've got we're just talking this morning, my business partner showing me a bounced check from a client. And we see his post on Facebook, can't say the name here, obviously, but he's very successful, making lots of money, but not a great money manager, apparently, because he'll make it right occasionally. But it's like we always got a few $100 check sitting on a desk, bounced, that he needs to make right because he's, I don't know, maybe too busy behind the chair to keep the checkbook going right. I don't know what it is, but I had some bad management practices too. And so I totally get it. I used to order overnight hair sometimes and do the early AM delivery, which meant it was coming between 6 a.m. and 8:30. So I'd have to get up at 4:30 or 5, and I would come, and I didn't have a client till 9 o'clock maybe, or 10. And I would come, put a sign on the front door, please knock, I'm in here, or leave the door unlocked, and then just lay down on the couch and possibly fall asleep, waiting for hair that would inevitably be delivered between like 8:15 and 8:30, never between 6 and 8. But it was between 6 and 8:30. So I had to be here at 6 just in case. And I would most of the time get it. And I'm so nervous and sweating and thinking, if I don't get it by 8:30, I got to call and cancel or reschedule her. I screwed up, ordered last minute again. So that's a little bit on the stylist side, right? And it all starts with a consultation. But I want to jump to the hairdresser side. I'm so sorry, the client side a little bit in the consultation. Sure, a hairdresser should do a really good consultation and do all of these professional things, quote the price correctly. But then on the client side, I am surprised at the Facebook groups that are dedicated just to clients complaining about extensions, about a lot of things. But there's these hair extension groups that are just for stylists, and then they got the ones that are stylists and clients, and you've got so many people posting their bad extension jobs. I got lots of opinions about this, but I've been talking a long time. I'm probably going to eat one of my crackers while you talk you know, we gotta
you want me to take the client side of things. Okay.
client side.
I've learned this Southern expression, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. Yeah, that can mean a lot of things.
So that's what I'm going to start.
What should the client do better in a consultation, in your opinion?
I think a brand new client who has never worn hair extensions, this is their first time experience, I think they are the best clients. I think, unfortunately, clients who have prior experience in wearing hair extensions just come up with habits, and some of them are good most of the time. The few that are bad are really bad. And some of the ones, you know, they know what they're supposed to do, but along the way, they've gotten away with not doing them. And it's been working until it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, it's, dear God, it's always when you have a freaking party to go to, or some major event is like tomorrow. And the one time you've skipped that step every single time. And the one time, this time you skipped it, this is when it's supposed to go wrong, it went wrong terribly. So I think the other problem is when somebody's been using a type of hair and they switch to a new type of system yes, they have experience with wearing hair extensions, but now they're trying a new color, or they're trying a new length, or they're trying a new technique, a new something. You throw one variable into that mix that they have consistently been used to doing over and over and over for one little change, and it's a delicate ecosystem, and it blows up the rainforest, you know, blows up the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And then, you know, inevitably nobody wants to feel like they are in trouble. It's just a human nature. It's a human psychological thing. So you pass the blame to the next person, and then the next person, and then eventually the inanimate object, the hair, gets blamed because it can't talk back to you.
I feel a short coming on right here. Warning across the screen.
Right.
Warning clients. Your stylist does not know how to do everything that you've seen on YouTube. So when you go in asking for something and they recommend something else, you know what they're recommending? The only thing they know how to do. So be careful in your consultation. Just because your stylist says, this is what you should do, this is the best thing for your hair, so often it's the only thing they know how to do. So they think it's the best thing for everybody's hair. So you have to be careful in a consultation and ask to see their before and after pictures. Ask to see them. maybe ask to talk to one of their clients that has what they're offering to you. Because if more clients did that, we wouldn't have all these bad jobs on social media, because the bad jobs on social media keep getting done over and over again because that stylist, unfortunately, is not getting called out, not having to refund money, not having to redo it. So they just keep doing a bad job, and they need to be called out if they're doing bad jobs. And unfortunately, some people are doing good jobs are getting taken advantage of with the new world of social media, but that's just part of the game. I think for the most part, it's good because it's a social proofing and a social cleansing of people who do bad work, get shown out there in the world. And so I say there are several types of almost anything and everything. Do a little bit more research with hair extensions is an easy one for me to talk about because I can quickly name from wefts to tape to different kinds of wefts, sewed in, beaded in, glued in, to individual strands, whether it's I-tips, O-tips, K-tips. And so there's so many kinds. And I think a little test might be to ask your stylist when you're going in for a consultation, what kind of hair extensions do you know how to do? And if they just name one, well, that's a little clue that that's probably the one they're going to want to do on you. So maybe it's the one you need, but if it's not the one you want or need, and it's the only one they do and recommending, red flag, right? So just a beginning of a red flag. I would definitely talk to other clients. So from the hairdresser side of it, I say maybe learn another technique. And I would say the area I'm going into here, because I'm thinking on hair, top of the head hair system, same problem. You've got there's shave and no shave techniques, and then I'm going to go into the hairdresser side. There's shave and no shave techniques for ladies where you go in to get hair replacement and they don't tell you details. They just say, yes, we're going to make your hair longer. You're going to love it. It's going to be longer, thicker. This is how much it costs. Come on in. And the client doesn't ask enough questions about how it works. They don't know if they should.
They just don't know, right?
They don't know. And then they end up in a room and the hairdresser just pulls out a pair of clippers and starts shaving. I had a client come in the other day and she goes, I never wanted my head shaved, but she didn't have mirrors in the room and she just started shaving my head. And I thought, what is she doing? Now, sometimes that is the best look. And sometimes you have so few hairs, shaving those few off is a better look and application. But I feel like you should probably be honest and upfront. And I don't like the word shave. I say, we're going to take the hair down to the scalp. We're going to clean it up completely here and there'll be no hair. And they sometimes say, are you going to shave it? I'm like, ooh, that's an aggressive word. I don't
Yes,
like.
I am, but we're not going to say it that way.
Yeah, we're going to clean it. I'm like, do you, in this case, a lot of times I say, does anybody ever see what I'm looking at right now? No. What do you mean? Well, here's my point. If you never show these 10 hairs on top of your head, not even to your husband, you wear a wig or a hairpiece or a turban or a hat to sleep in, a flower cap, some sort of covering, nobody ever sees it. Does it matter if it's shaved or not? Because first of all, I'm going to shave that area. I'm going to trim that area down. I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to bond a hair system in that area. And you're going to have hair. I'm the only one that's ever going to see that bald scalp again when you come here every 4 to 6, 8 weeks to get maintenance. And so nobody ever is going to see this except in this private room, and you'll have more hair. And you know what? I've got a lady in the hall, in the room across the hallway that has the same thing right now. You want to talk to her, or I can call in a client, or I can offer a reference. I've even got videos. Look, we did this, ladies, this, guys. This is the before and afters. Show. So this is kind of going back over to the stylist side. Show your work. Show the before and afters. Tell all the techniques you do. That helps the client feel more comfortable that you are not a one-trick pony and you actually have successful work. Showing your successful work, probably the best consultation tool there is.
Yeah, be open about it. Be honest with it. Give your clients options. It is okay to tell your client, there is this technique. There is also this other technique. I don't personally do them, but these are other available techniques. So if you have only one that you're good at, let the client know this is the one that you are really good at. You're specialized in, you prefer it. There is this available, that available. Let the client make a decision. If they're with you, they're pretty much going to stay with you. Very few times is the client going to walk away. They're going to appreciate much more that you're being honest and upfront about it. The other common mistake is from as a hairstylist, it sucks to make a mistake, but it is okay. If we think about hair cutting and coloring, just think about how often you goof a haircut or how often you mess up a highlight and you have to tone it. Okay. And you're just naturally, you're like, I just got to run a toner through this. It'll be fine. Sit down, shut up. Oh, this side's a little uneven. Okay, no problem. Just put your hands down. Let me just even it out. We dismiss it like nothing because we've made those mistakes and have fixed those mistakes so many times that it has become second nature. For some reason, when it comes to hair extensions, if something goes wrong, dear God, we're in DEFCON 1 and we're on red alert and it's the end of the freaking world. It's like Armageddon. Everybody starts spazzing out so much and everybody's talking about refund and suing and it gets so blown out of proportion. And 9 times out of 10, it's a simple fix. It's such a simple fix. So the same calm that you have in your professionalism with your fixing haircuts and coloring and other services, remember that those same fixes, that same approaches work with hair extensions as well too. I think that's a huge common mistake that's made a lot of the time. And from the client side, you need to understand that as well too. Things happen. Your stylist is not infallible, okay? You've come and gotten a dozen services, if not more, from that stylist. They get one hall pass or they get a pass once in a while. I make this joke with my clients all the time, especially because I get a lot of corrective color. Like a lot of my new clients start with me as corrective color from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And I say to them after a year of doing their hair, okay, I've fixed your hair. It's been doing great. Now we're having fun with it. This time I get to mess it up, right? And they're like, no, you never get to mess up my hair, not even once. I'm like, it's going to happen. One of these days, it's going to happen. And I just psychologically.
I can't be perfect all the time.
Right. It could happen.
Oh, my God. That's funny. That's funny. Going along those lines, my favorite is like with new clients like you do. The confidence is easily shown. So when people say, how long have you been doing hair? That's, we both have that fun joke of all week, this is my
I got here at 6 o'clock this morning.
My first day on the job. I'm so excited. You're my first haircut ever.
The YouTube video makes it look so easy.
I know. I hope it comes out well. So just say no, hairdressers. Just say no.
Right.
I had a stylist work for me one time and she said, not all money is money to be made. And I said, what does that mean? She said, not all money is money to be made. And I didn't understand what she meant. She'd explain it to me. And she said, you don't want to say no because you think first of all, you don't think you can say no. A client says, I want you to do this. And you say, in your head, you're thinking, I can't do that. But she says she wants it. I guess I have to try. And no, you don't. If you can't do it, don't do it. Bleaching hair. So often for me, new stylists come out of school. They haven't had enough experience lightening hair. And these girls were all coming in with those white hair pictures. And none of these with the white lightener on the head, it makes that high golden yellow color look whiter. And so they don't know how to see through it. They wash it off and they're like, I thought it was white. Oh, well, that's the best I can do. Her scalp's turning red. She's got blisters because they put it on the scalp the first time around. And now they can't get it white today. They got to let the scalp heal. And it's a catastrophe. Even if they didn't put it on the scalp and they did it 2 or 3 times because they're trying to turn somebody who's been coloring their own hair black. And they're like, yeah, we can make it white. No, you might not be able to. So just don't. Or do a test strip or strand. There are other options, but so often, especially a new stylist, they don't even know they can say no. So that's the most important thing to me is know your limitations. I was telling a girl yesterday on the phone, she said, I just don't know what to do. And I said, I've got mixed feelings about this because if you're not a little nervous, you're probably not growing. But if you're a lot nervous, you probably shouldn't do it. So there's, I almost have that. There's got to be this
Yeah.
nervous. There's got to be this nervous meter. Like, I want to be a little uncomfortable sometimes. Now, most of the time, I want to be super comfortable because I know that 80-90% of being very comfortable is going to lead to very high success most of the time. And that's what I need to succeed in life and want to stay alive and be happy, But there's got to be but that's when you end up in a rut if you just have 100% success all the time and no challenges, no mental stimulation. So I think you got to want to learn a little, right?
You got to have one of those hold my beer moments.
Oh, here, hold my beer. I'm going to
hold my coffee.
I'm going to give this a try. Right. And I think some of us have a little more of that in us than others. Some people like 50% of their life is, I'm going to go ahead and try it. And I know that because we sell hair extension education, and many people don't even look at the education, and they're calling me with problems. And I'm like, hey, RJ, did they watch the education? Because we can see, public service announcement, we can see if you watch the videos, we know how much, what percentage. And he's like, oh, they didn't watch any of the application video. And that's where they're having trouble. And they just thought they could see it from the marketing. I saw you on YouTube. Those are marketing videos. I'm leaving out the real good stuff because it's boring. And that's how I make money. I want to make sure you know how to do it and then sell your hair and make sure you're successful. So I did come out with a quick start guide. So guys, you can click in the description below. We have links to the videos on how to learn some of the things we talk about. Mm-hmm. And we have greatly reduced. We're it's like a quick start world. We have a short one quick start video to show you how to put extensions in, take them out, redo them. And it's a lot less expensive to get the kit and all the education. So that is all. Oh man, that's all I wanted to say about the Just Say No in hairdressers. But that was like the last thing I was going to say. I'm jumping around like an attention deficit child, and that's okay because that's my favorite way to live. But I got another great divide that I want to throw up there, because I talked so highly about synthetic wigs last week, and sometimes you should not use synthetic. So I thought, let me tell people how to differentiate between the two, because I think synthetic is great, but I also think human is great, but there's a time and place for each. And do you know the big reason why you should or shouldn't use one or the other? This is a test, Eddie.
I don't. I'm going to guess and say it depends on your lifestyle and your ability to maintain it properly.
It's all about overnight.
Overnight.
Is it staying on your head?
Okay.
Overnight?
Okay.
Yeah. So synthetic is a great product, but it can't take high heat or high friction. And so if you're going to be wearing it overnight, you cannot control your sleeping. Nobody can control their sleeping, and they don't know it. That head rubbing all over the pillow is going to totally just fray and destroy and heat damage from friction on synthetic. So a wig, a clip-in, a piece, anything that's temporary that's not staying on your head overnight, you're going to wear it like a wig or a hair piece or something that you take off of your head at night and put something else on if you want to hide your head or not, then synthetic is a great choice. Human can be a good choice, but synthetic is a less expensive, more consistent, less maintenance type of thing. So a wig, I'm a big proponent of wigs for synthetic for wigs, and a lot of other hair pieces or things that come off at night. But if you're going to wear it overnight, whether it's a beaded on, a long-haired bun, a shave and bonded down, human is going to be the first choice. Sometimes there's going to be a small percentage of synthetic. Maybe if it's the grays, like if I wanted to match this amount of gray, 10, 20, 30% gray in synthetic, so that when you have to color the system later, the gray hairs stay gray, because synthetic hair doesn't absorb color because it's non-porous, and the brown hairs can be colored as they fade and the gray stays gray. There's a strategic reason to use, but I just wanted to mention that because the clients don't know that. Maybe some hairdressers don't know, but synthetic's a great option if it's being taken off at night. That's the one big detail. So
I think that's a huge detail. I think that's a very huge detail that a lot of people don't think about. So excited to get hair on your head, and it makes you feel so good, that you want to keep that feeling for as long as possible, forever.
and that kind of goes in both categories. I think a lot of stylists don't realize that, and customers
So
definitely.
then when you take a synthetic off, or when you take any system off at night, you just throw it on the desk stand and then just slip it right back on in the morning.
You can, but do you know what to do with it? Or are you just messing with
I
me?
am. I'm just totally messing with
There's
you.
a lot of different
playing the heel.
choices. It will work fine. You can just lay it down, but the base obviously is rounded. It fits your head. So collapsing and falling flat is going to mess up the hairstyle a little bit, but it also will crease the base, and you're gonna sweat and secrete oil, and that'd be nice if that got a better chance to dry out. So there's these weird looking thin plastic wire frames that are really, really cheap, but then there's styrofoam heads, there's canvas blocks, there's a lot of material, like a lot of different materials there's styrofoam, neoprene. There's a bunch of different materials that are head shaped to hold hair. There's little half round things that just sit on that you can set your hair system, wig, toupee on also. So there's options, but keeping that curved form. Listen, if you got home, you got a wig and you got nothing else, find anything that's kind of rounded. I'm just trying to think like what would be around a house that's rounded. You could crumble up a big piece of paper or a bunch of them and just stick it in there. You can ball up a towel, set it down and put that over a towel. Just about anything to help hold the shape. But
you spend hundreds of dollars purchasing this system. Don't just, and I'm making fun, but
you might get home and forgot to that first day, because sometimes
right, but don't just throw it off on the side and
order it on Amazon. You might order it on Amazon or something, and you're giving it a try, and then you're like, oh shoot, I got it, I love it. Sure, it's probably low quality, but it's your first start. You're trying, you're saving money. You don't have a person to recommend. That's part of where customer service comes in. You don't have a person to recommend, like, hey, you really need to get this wide tooth pick to go through it so you don't make it look so fuzzy, and you need a headstand to hold it. So that's why I say, if you get home and you need to wad up a hand towel or whatever, that'll work. But especially if you decide to wash your hair, what shampoo and condition, and then you shake it out to dry and put it on, and you're letting it dry. Then you need to be able to get some air through it. So having it opened up like that's going to be better. So I went through my whole client side. That's kind of for both sides, but ask for referrals. I mean, I've got that. I know I talked a little bit about that, but that's big. That's big. Most people ask for referrals in bigger purchases, and I don't know why they don't do it often enough with hair replacement, hair extensions, wigs. See if they
just don't know. They just you don't know what you don't know. And I think I want to bring up cost. I think that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize, is the cost for these systems, both the stylist and the client.
Yep.
Because when we're talking about services, and especially these kind of services, they are very expensive. In our world, because we're so used to dealing with the cost of these things, we're not trying to sound cold or dismissive when we say, this system is a cheapy system. It only costs $600, or $1,000. Oh, this system is a mid-level. It costs 15, 2,000. This is a premium system. It's $3, $4, $5,000. And to most people, when you hear that, that's your month's salary. That's rent, for some people. It's so mind-blowing. Like you see like a cartoon, their eyes are coming out of their head when they first hear this numbers. Both the client and the stylist, especially stylists in class, their first time learning these things. And we start going over pricing and they're like, wait, what? I'm going to charge what? I'm like, yes, you have to be confident to say these numbers. You can't, because if you're squeamish about saying this, what is the client supposed to feel sitting in the chair, hearing it,
Right.
They're not going to feel confident in making that investment into themselves too. And the amount of psychological nurturing that this does, the way this changes somebody's entire confidence system, it is worth anything. They have spent, on average, by the time the average client gets to the stylist for a hair system, they have already spent equal to, if not 1.5 times the amount of what a system costs, because they've tried and exhausted so many other options on do it yourself. And they don't realize how much they've actually spent, incrementally, and it just builds up. So when they come to get the system, it's one big price all at once, and everybody involved is just not prepared for that so often. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm going to protect hairdressers and clients on both sides. I'm debating on how to do this because
it's a tough subject to broach,
Well, it is. And I'm going to tell clients something I kind of get scared of on my end. Let's talk about clients. If you're unsure about the hairdresser, if you're just a little leery, don't write a check or pay cash. Pay with a credit card, because you can dispute the charges if you get treated unfairly. Unfortunately, we've been taken advantage in that situation. So I want to now protect the stylists. Take pictures and video, because if you have before and after pictures, you can dispute when they try to take the money back. And we've disputed and got to keep the money, because it's not just
paperwork. You need agreement paperwork as well too.
Well,
in today's world, unfortunately.
Well, it's not. I don't even know what I was going to say now. It's not. Anyway, they can be very happy with it right then, but some people get home and their spouse, either way, is like, you paid what? Immediately, everybody's in trouble and they don't love their hair anymore. They're in trouble and they're like, I didn't know it was going to be this much, you liar. And so they're lying to save the relationship. They don't want to get in trouble. So they're like, sometimes the spouse just reverses the charges because they didn't know their spouse charged so much and they can't afford it in the family. And so, I was going to say, it's not just a service. It's a product also. In a lot of cases, you're spending a lot of money on this hair that's going on their head. And so if they reverse the charges, you didn't only lose time, you lost a product service. And so it's good to take before and after pictures, the client before and after, the product before it went on the head, the after, and a short video. I mean, a picture of them smiling at the end would be nice. But we've sent pictures in before to the credit card company and said, no, they're wrong. They did get this and they said they liked it. We can send you the picture of the video, and they accept that. And that's better than written documentation. And then they say, oh, they got it. Right. Because I can now call the police and say they stole this product. They didn't pay for it. They reversed the charges. They left with this. I've got pictures. They reversed the charges. Now they can be a warrant out for their arrest. So I get it. People take advantage on both sides. Hairdressers do bad jobs and don't want to refund money. But then clients take advantage, get good jobs and don't want to pay. So I think there's some protection on both sides there. And I think people should take precautions. Sometimes a credit card can protect you, and pictures and videos can protect the stylist. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I think it's fair on both sides.
It's completely fair. It's completely fair. As humans being the product, we're stylists are not assembly line. We're not factory workers. We are creating art and sculpting it 100% customized on the fly on you, the client.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of artistic vision with technical know-how and experience that goes into this. And beauty is subjective. So it's extremely variable. What you feel in that moment, and you agreed on that feeling in that moment. And then you go home and your family and your friends or your peers or your coworkers or society in general was not there. They weren't part of that. They didn't know what you were supposed to do. The perfect example I give is this. Those award shows, the movie actress award shows, God, I don't know pop culture to save my life. The red carpet, when they walk down the red carpet and everybody's wearing their dresses and stuff. Help me, Bernard, for the love of God.
Grammys are one.
The Grammys, right?
Yeah.
You talk to one client, oh my God, did you see what she was wearing? What a slut. And then you talk to the next one, oh my God, did you see what she was wearing? She's so hot.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she's so beautiful.
Hot slut.
Right, you know? And it's like, which one is it? Now, for me, who doesn't know crap about pop culture, and I don't watch these things, I have no idea which one is she. Right? Is she a hot slut? Is she just a slut? Is she just hot? Which one is she? But that's the problem. So with everybody involved, just make sure the person has the confidence before, during, and after.
That's a good point. And that's why you have to take the pictures and the videos.
Yeah.
Because they don't always have the confidence when they get home to wear this new blue hair that they said they wanted to rock. Blue hair. And they're like, oh my God, it is ugly. I don't know why I liked this 30 minutes ago. I want my money back. Are you crazy? You said you wanted blue hair. I gave you blue hair.
And for the past 3 hours we've been doing this, you've been so excited.
Your mind. It's fine if you want to change your mind and the color, but you're going to pay again because we did a consultation. You said you wanted, and I delivered. But how can you prove it? And that's the problem so often. You've got to prove it. And you're not trying to stick it to somebody, but my goodness, own your mistakes, And so that's all I'm saying is not everybody's going to own their mistake on either side. So often hairdressers do screw up hair and they're like, I can't afford to fix it. And they just stop answering the phone. they can't.
Yeah, don't ghost people. That's not nice.
But they do. Hairdressers will ghost people. And so then the clients have to have some recourse. But then clients will take advantage. I have nothing else to say on this subject. This is, I think we're ending a little
that one is that one. Now, what about how much heat can a human hair system take versus how much heat styling, for styling purposes from both the stylist side and from the client side? Because I think too many times a client watches a hairstylist take the blow dryer and the brush, put the two together with the hair sandwiched in between, and they think they go home. Now they have to tilt their head over to try to get the blow dryer and the brush into each other to mimic what the stylist did.
I am not a scientist and I'm not a nerd like you, so I don't know the exact temperatures, but I think that the most important thing about any of these heat tools is to never leave them in one place for too long. That, some people will see that there's hot and warm on a blow dryer and they think, oh, if it's just warm, it's safer. We were talking about it before we went live a little while ago. It's just warm. So I'm just it's safe to put the blow dryer right on my head until it's a round bald spot. No, it's not. I would still be moving the blow dryer around, just distributing the heat, whether I'm using hot, because technically you can use the hottest setting of any and every tool you have if it's moving fast enough.
If it's moving fast enough.
Yeah. And so that's the balance that comes with experience. And experience means the smell of burnt hair.
Right. If you see smoke, that is bad.
Sometimes smoke is not smoke. Sometimes smoke is steam and some water.
No, steam and smoke are two different things.
I know, but they look similar.
No, they don't. If it's see-through, that's steam. If it's milky freaking white, the
point, I was going to say the purpose. The point is you don't even have to see it. If it's smoke, you can smell it.
You can smell it. Fair enough. Fair enough. So those are the biggest common mistakes that we hear on a daily and weekly basis when we're taking phone calls, when we're at the salon, when we're dealing with other stylists, when we're talking to clients and such. Those are the biggest common mistakes that we see consistently. Doesn't matter what brand, doesn't matter what kind of hair extension system, topper system, or a hair system in general. Let us know what you guys run into, some of the questions you may have, some of the things you guys may think we should be doing, but you're not sure why. And then we'll fact check you.
Yep.
And we'll go from there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the Profitable Stylist Academy in the description below. Like Bernard was talking about earlier, where you could get tips and tricks and a lot of education on how to do things the right way. Catch you guys next week. Thank you so much.